This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 12, verse 3. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Zechariah chapter 12 verse 3 is that I'm pretty sure everyone's heard about the ongoing conflict that's going on in the statehood of 1948ers. Okay, you have the Palestinians and the 1948ers banging on each other, and this has been going on. This has been going on since the 1948ers came into that land. Okay, proclaiming that it's theirs, in which it's not, because you could clearly see that that region, that area, is constantly a burdensome, all right, to the whole world, because you have the wrong people in that land. And that's what I'm going to get into. I'm going to get into these 1948ers because, hey, these 1948ers, they came into that area, okay, with violence. They came into that area and they were the first terrorists. Okay, and I'm going to read you what happened. This article came out in 2016. So this was about, 77 years ago. All right. The bombings that happened at the David Hotel, which, who was it caused by? The 1948ers. And if you don't know who the 1948ers are in 2021, the year of hastening on the coming of the day of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, more than likely, you're probably not a man of the Lord. All right? Look up 1948, what happened in that year. Okay? Who got control over that land despitefully? So let's get it in because, hey, this is the reason why there will be no peace in the Middle East. This is the reason why that region is burdensome to the whole world. It's because you have the wrong people in there, and they got in there, okay, through acts of violence, okay, terrorism. And they've been oppressing the Palestinians, who are also heathens. They don't belong in that land, okay, ever since. Because they were there, the Palestinians, if you know the history real quickly, the Palestinians were there prior to the 1948ers because of the Ottoman Turks, who had control over that region, all right, the Ottoman Empire. And they allowed those Palestinians to be there. And you got to go into that history. And that's why you so-called Christians, all right, you plantation Christians, Christianism, you don't know what the hell you're talking about because you don't know the history. All right? If those are the Lord's chosen people, this shouldn't be happening. 1948, Yitzhak Rabin Center on Friday marked the 70th anniversary of the King David Hotel bombing with a conference featuring lectures by historians and recollections by people who lives were changed that day. On July 22nd, 1946, members of the Ergon 1948 underground, okay, now this is before 1948, so this is 2 years that these individuals were doing, okay, violent acts. Entered the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, which housed on its southern side the headquarters of the British Mandatory Palestine, right? Because the British were in there after they defeated the Ottoman Turks, okay, to keep the diplomacy or the peace between the Palestinians, all right, because they were there first, and there was an uproar of all these 1948ers coming into that land because they were there first, all right. Disguised as Sudanese waiters and Arab men. Wait a minute. So this is what the 1948ers were doing. They were dressed up as other nationalities. They snuck into a kitchen and placed explosives hidden inside milk churns against the supporting pillars of the building. Right. So now let's get into it.
After a bomb explosion caused by terrorists on the British headquarters at Jerusalem, one entire corner of the King David Hotel, a building of 7 stories, was razed to the ground. The stone floors were cut clean away as if they'd been hit by a 1,000-pound bomb from above. Housed in the destroyed wing were the greater part of the government offices where work was in full swing at the time of the outrage.
There you go. So the 1948ers attacked British Parliament, all right, British troops, all right, disguised as Sudanese and Arabs. Okay, let's get another scripture. That's why this place is burdensome, all right, because that place over there is inhabited by violent people, okay, Edomites. Genesis 25, verse 27. And the boys grew up, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Right, when you go into that word hunter, okay, which is tazayada, all right, which means hunting game. If you go into the root word, to catch, figuratively men, hunt. All right, and that's Esau Edom, a cunning hunter. Okay, this was the blessing was given was the sword. Let me get that. Genesis 27, verse 39. And this is when Isaac gave the blessing to Jacob and Esau. Jacob got the blessing that he would get the kingdom of heaven, inherit the kingdom of heaven, and that all his brethren would serve him. All right, which talking about all the heathens, okay, as well as Esau Edom. And then Esau cried and said, "Can you give me a blessing?" I'll read it right here. Genesis 27, verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, "Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept, because he's a little bitch. 39. Isaac his father answered and said unto him, "Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above." 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live. By thy sword shalt thou live. And that's why. Okay? So who is the real terrorist? Who's the real killer? All right? Esau Edom. And Lord willing, they don't take this down. That's why I'm being very tactical and using code words, because this hits these Edomites, especially the 1948ers, okay, who are the descendant of Esau. They'll be known as the Amalekites, because this goes to show that they cannot be the chosen people. All right, doing acts like this. The explosion killed 91 people, wounded 45, bringing down all 7 stories of the building southern wing. The dead included Britons, 1948s, Arabs, and other. Right, so they didn't care. They killed their own kind. They killed anybody. All right. Menachem Begin, leader of the Irgun organization, always said that in order to prevent any casualties, his organization gave the British a 30-minute advance warning in the form of 3 phone calls, which were dismissed as pranks. Right, so that's his justification. Well, I did give you warning. All right, and that's the MO, the mode of operation of Esau Edom. All right, especially Amalek. They'll give you warning. Right, like for example, 9/11. All these movies, okay? Yeah, they give you warning. You just got to have the eyesight to see. All right? They give you warning. It's true, because they think they're gods in their own eyes. All right? And this whole proclaiming to be the chosen people is just an act. All right? to confuse the world. And the world is confused, especially you so-called Christians. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. So that's it. Oh, by the way, this individual right here, the leader, Menachem Begin, he then became prime minister of the statehood of 1948ers. Yep. After he did all that, crazy, right? He was a known terrorist, okay, and still became prime minister, right? So let's go. This is from the Washington Post. The scriptures also talk about they make their own tongue fall upon themselves, okay? How terrorism helped found the 1948 statehood. Yeah. All right. So all these terror attacks, the origins come from the 1948ers. They started all this. All right. I'm just gonna get to the point because I want to read something right here. And this is history that our people, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, who are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, you need to know this history, all right, because it paints a very well picture to understand why they cannot be the chosen and why you're the chosen, okay? Arab violence and they're gonna put the word terrorism, but let's put it this way: the Arabs were not doing big bombings like what happened at the King David Hotel. Okay, that was unheard of. In fact, when you go into the word terrorism, I want to show you something here. Zionist political violence refers to act of violence or terror committed by Zionists. The most active period of most notable Zionist political violence began June 30th, 1924, and continue. Right, so they've been terrorizing, that region, all right, so they can get the land, all right, deceitfully. During World War I, Zionist volunteers fought in the 1948 Legion of the British Army against the Ottoman Turks. See, there you go. You got to know that history. All right. And during the 1936-39 Arab revolt in Palestine, Palestinian Arabs fought for the end of the mandate and the creation of an Arab state based on the whole of Palestine. They attacked both British in 1948 as well as some Palestinian Arabs who supported a pan-Arabism. Mainstream Zionists, represented by Val Lamin and Haganah, practiced the policy of Hablagat, restraint. Erdogan militants did not follow the policy, called themselves Hablagat breakers. Erdogan began bombing Palestinian Arab civilian targets in 1938. Right, that's the bombings. That's where the terrorist bombing, this is the beginning of terrorist bombings, was by the 1948ers. Okay, 1938. They started this, man. Okay? Yeah, here we go. Mandatory Palestine. Following the 1929 Hebron massacre of 1948, in the Mandate Palestine, the Zionist militia Haganah transformed itself into a paramilitary force in 1931. However, the more militant Erdogan broke away from Haganah, objecting to Haganah's policy of the restraint founded by Erdogan sought to aggressively defend 1948 from Arab attacks. Its tactics of attacking Arab communities included the bombing of crowded Arab market, is considered among the first examples of terrorism directed against civilians. There you go. There is your, 1948. That's what I was looking for. Okay? Now, you want to know who the real terrorists? There you go. All right? First ones ever to bomb civilians. Okay? The 1948ers, they attacked, once again, among the first examples of terror directed against civilians. There you go. So there you have it. So, yeah. Again, Genesis 27:39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. 40. And by the sword shalt thou live. Right, and that's it. By the sword, doing acts like that. All right? Putting civilians in harm's way. And shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. That's talking about when we fell as a nation, okay, and these Edomites were able to escape out of our hands. All right, King David, King Solomon, when they passed away, and we split as a nation, and that's when they came into power. They helped the Babylonians destroy our temple. In fact, they were the ones that destroyed the temple. I believe in Esdras. And then when they was the Greeks and everything, and then now first then there was the Romans. After that, Greeks, Romans, and then of course now, okay, they've been oppressing us ever since. These so-called white people, which are the Edomites. So the point is that they are the ones that are the biggest terrorism group. And by reading this, I'm going to read this part right here. It says, where is it at? I want to get to the point. Arab violence and terrorism against British military and government personnel and against 1948 grew in intensity and scope throughout the 1920s and later. With the Arab revolt of the mid-1930s, the British ultimately quelled the rebellion, though it took more than 100,000 troops to do so. The Palestinians fought hard, but they suffered from divisions in their leadership and the failure to build a national movement in the national institutions. Problems that were to plague the Palestinian national movement for decades to come. Combined with the impending war in Europe by 1939, this Arab pressure persuaded the British to go away from the promise of the Balfour Declaration, okay? And that's something that must be addressed constantly. Because where in the scriptures does it say that you will sign a treaty with another nation so that you could get back the land? That's not in the Bible. The Lord said he will deliver his people, okay, into the land. In fact, let me get it. Let me find it. All right. The Lord gather. Let's put gather. I think it's in here it is. Isaiah 11 and 11. The restored remnant. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. Right, wherever Israel was scattered at. That was part of the curses, that we will be scattered among the heathen. Okay, and then this is the set. When the Lord comes back, he's going to gather us from wherever we're scattered at. That's why the angels in Matthew, it says the angels will be gathering the elect from the four corners. Let me get in Matthew. All right, that's why you so-called Christians, man, once again, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Matthew 24. Here it is. 24 and 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of the Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. 31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Right. This goes according to Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. The Lord's going to do this. So what the hell is, okay, this Balfour Declaration? Where is that in the scriptures? Okay, which proves they're not supposed to be in that land. That's why that's that burdensome stone. And that's why all the world's affected by it. That's why there'll never be peace in the Middle East. because you have the wrong people in there. Okay, it's really, this goes to show you that, all right, the Christianism, the 1948ers, they're all liars. Liars. Okay? And they're not doing, if they know this, okay, they're hiding it. And if they don't know this, you're regurgitating lies, which means you're a liar. Okay? Okay, so let me go back to this. The British instead limited 1948 immigration and land purchases. Right. So this goes to show you that, wait a minute, if they're the chosen people, why do they have to go through all this? They shouldn't have to. Okay? They should be able to get the land, all right, by the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Why do they need permission from another nation? Okay? This is the reason why you have so much turmoil in that land. Because this is all a freaking fraud, man. The British instead limited 1948 immigration and land purchases, effectively redesigning the ultimate goal as the partition of Palestine into 2 states. Right, and this is what they've been yelling and screaming about from, okay, all the way up to now. Palestine wants a 2-part state. The 1948ers are like, no, this is our land. And you got it out of terrorism, bucko. We're not a hate group, we're a truth group. How the hell is this anti-Semitism? This is the truth. You're not supposed to be in that land. Ezekiel 36:5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea. Idumea is a Greek word which means Edom. And have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Right. They took it upon themselves to take over that land. Okay. And then fool the world saying they were the chosen. The spiteful minds. What's that? What does that mean, the spiteful? Let's get a better understanding. The spiteful minds. The spiteful. Contempt. What is contempt? Look up the word contempt. The feeling that a person is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving. Yeah. Okay? That's these 1948ers, man. Despiteful minds. Okay? They're in contempt. 6. Prophesy therefore concerning the land. And that's what we're telling. And saying unto the mountains, to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valley, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because ye have borne the shame of the heathen. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I have lifted up my hand, show the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. Right? And y'all gonna get judged. Okay? Y'all gonna get judged. Because you're not supposed to be in that land. So there's going to be there's a destruction. And you could go to Ezekiel 38. All right. Because that let me get it. Because that land's about to get pelted with fire. Once again, we're not a hate group. We're a truth group. That's why you two Gestapos, man. You don't know what the hell your videos you're taking now. We're actually telling the truth and telling the world, like, this is why there's turmoil there. You have the wrong people in that land. Ezekiel 38. And here we go. Ezekiel 38:18. And it shall come to pass at the same time when God shall come against the land of Israel, saith the Lord power, that my fury shall come up in my face. 19. For in my jealousy and fire of my wrath have I spoken, sure in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel. There you go. So just talking about the destruction. That land's going to get hit with fire. 20. So that the fish of the sea and the fowls of heaven and the beasts of the field and all creeping things that creep upon the earth and all the men that are upon the face of it shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down and the steep places shall fall, and every wall shall fall to the ground. Right, that place is going to be destroyed. Okay, and the whole world is going to fear. Okay. "21, and I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Lord power. Every man's sword shall be against his brother." Right, and you're going to see, like, all right, you Edomites are going to be fighting each other left and right. All right, and that's why the Russians are set up, and the Russians are Edomites, but they're coming in the spirit of the Medes, and they are also known as Magog and Gog because they dwell in that region where where Magog and Gog used to dwell at. Okay, that region, it was where the Japhites were located at, and then they got pushed out, and then you Edomites dwell there, and that's why Ezekiel 38 is a prophesying of you Edomites coming against, okay, Babylon, the 1948ers, okay, because you're in that region. But yeah, so once again, you can clearly see that land is a burdensome. Okay, it's been like this since the imposters went over there, and we're here to tell you that's why there'll never be peace in the Middle East, because you have the wrong people dwelling there. Okay, the wrong people dwelling there, and that place is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. All right, and it's all prophesied to get worse, because this is the Lord's movie. It's judgment, and everyone will be judged according to their works. Okay, according to their despiteful minds, according to their ambitions, you will be judged. Thus saith the scriptures. And with that, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it door. Keep the faith. As you can see, we're almost out of here. Keep pushing. Keep fighting. Keep studying. Keep praying. Shalom. All right, to the sisters as well that are studying and praying. Shalom. And the Bible ball. Shalom. We're almost out of here. All right. The truth is out now. Shalom and the Bible ball. Shalom.